Hello. Hi, everybody. You're in my world now. But it's not really my world because I can't be myself. The powers that be want to keep me from saying words. Bad words, shocking content. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So I'm here today to give you all some positivity. Some wonderful, beautiful positivity that can't be denied by anything, by any platform, by any government, by any viewer, any controller, central controller, somebody, maybe a human that reviews things, that thinks they have some kind of power. You can't stop me. Here I am, live. Hi. Today I wanted to talk about the power of positive thinking. And this is live, so if you comment, I can see it and I can respond. It's a positivity uh, live stream today. Positivity only. Only positive vibes. Hi, everyone. You like the picture? You like my background picture? Whoa! Oh no, I'm being eaten by myself. Oh. See if anybody shows up. If you show up, and if you are here, let me know so that we can talk. The topic for today, the thing that I'm talking about, is nothing. Nothing at all. It's a blank canvas, a clean slate. I'm here for you. I'm here to talk about what you want to talk about, and only what you want to talk about. If you want to talk about something, if you don't, you can just stay and watch. Either way, that helps me out. If you just stay and watch, I should have combed my beard beforehand, huh? It's getting kind of scraggly. Maybe I should just shave it all off. There's an idea. I see that there's 8 people in here. Hello, welcome. Today we're talking about me. Whoa, I'm disappearing into my own mouth. Hi, Roz. How you doing? See, I told you it was live. That's how you can prove it's live. As you read the comment, coming in live from a person somewhere in the world. Where are you, Roz? What part of the world are you in today? I am in California. As you can tell by my shirt, sunshine and salt water. Just hanging out today. There's no pressure. There's no real topic, you know. I've seen a lot of guys talking about society and how bad society is and how bad it is for uh, young men or any kind of, any age man dating. Everybody's talking about how terrible life is and it's all society's fault. It's never their fault. They've done everything right. It's never the individual's fault in their perspective. They've done everything right. It's society for being too woke or whatever, too fascist, whatever their argument is. It's always, the problem's always outside of themselves, right? And sometimes that may be the case, but when it comes to the dating of women, in my opinion, it's the individual. It's that guy's problem. It's his fault. Is this content shocking to you? Well, it is to me too. I don't know if I can handle it. I don't know if I can handle my background here. This is yikes. My background? I don't know. I don't know how long I can look at that. I could disappear into my own nose. I'm here to be positive today and not say any bad words and tell you that everything is possible if you believe in the Lord. If you believe in the Lord, anything is possible in this world. You know, I used to have friends, but then I gave my life to the Lord and I had to walk away from all of my friends and family, all the people that actually loved me. And I walked away from all the people that actually care and love for me. And I walked into the arms of a mythological figure from history who I um, coincidentally look just like. I look like the portrayals of him, don't I? I walked into his arms and I left behind all the people that love me and adore me and took care of me throughout life. I left them all behind and I entered into the loving arms of a guy that doesn't exist. Isn't that great? Roz says, I will be here, my friend. Thank you, Roz. This whole channel, I want you all to know, if you're worried about shocking content or information, or you're offended by anything that I say, just know that it's all done out of the darkness of my heart. And it's satire, it's comedy, it's me breaking apart the things you care about the most and making fun of them. But I do it out of the goodness of my heart to want I want to entertain you. That's my greatest intention, is to just help you pass the time and possibly laugh at the world and laugh at yourself and not take things too seriously. So I'm going live today to kind of express that. Matthew says, I care about midgets trapped in wells. I do too, Matthew. Why aren't people talking about that? Why are people not talking about all of the midgets scattered over the earth and all of these wells that are, I mean, they should be shut down. The wells should be closed off because they're dangerous. I don't know why we're not talking more about this. Thank you, Matthew, for that. People need to know that there are wells. There are wells in this country, in my country of America, and then you'll walk up to them. You won't see them. They don't have bricks around them. They're not raised above the ground. It's just like a hole in the ground. You know, and it's very easy to slip and to fall into one of them, especially if you're a midget. There is more than just one in this country alone. Just think about all of the third world countries that don't have the regulations we do. You know, we need more regulations. We need to close these wells off. We need to close the wells off and put everybody on the city plumbing system, the city water system. Let's take away the wells from farmers and from people living off the grid. Close them down. They're too unsafe. That's what I say. Put everybody on the government system. I'm sure that'll work out just fine. I'm sure everybody will get the water that they need. I'm sure it will be clean and regulated and preserved. Regulation, that's what we need. More regulation. That's what we need. More regulation. So Matthew says, sometimes I help the midgets get out, but then I think about the fact that it won't generate awareness to the real issue, so I throw them back in. Well, I can see that. I can see how that, I see your point there. Throwing them back in, because yeah, if you help them out, who's going to know? Who's going to know the danger of these wells and the threat they pose to midgets? Yes, Crimson Diamond, the hairline goes back to the Stone Age. Yes, I am from the Stone Age. See, I found the cure to aging, but I didn't find the cure to hair loss. So I've been alive since the Stone Ages, and throughout all of this time, I've read all of the occult books. I've read all of the books on magic, all of them, from the pagan stuff to the Western esoteric system to the Eastern mysticism. You know, I've even read the Jewish books. I read them all. None of them have a cure for hair loss. Go figure, huh? Crimson Diamond says, could be the sun. What could be the sun? Me? I could be the sun because I'm so radiant. I guess I could contemplate that. I could contemplate being the sun. I'm glad I have some real people here finally. Thank God. I thought all my comments were going to be Indian scammers, Indians from India, not Native American scammers. Indians from India, Nigeria. On my Facebook, it's Nigerians, Nigerian scammers that have avatar. They'll have a hot girl avatar, of course, and you click on the profile, and there's like all the followers are guys that take their profile picture like this. They're like looking into their camera like they don't really understand that they've taken a picture. And that's all they've tricked just the dumbest perverts of society. And I look at my like the percentage of how many people are following me on Facebook, and it's like like 70% Nigerians or something like that. Oh, Crimson Diamond saying the cause is the sun. The sun has burned my hair away. Yeah, that sucks. There's nothing I'm going to do about it. I just let it grow. Because if you do something about it, then that's probably even worse. Imagine if I just tattooed a hairline down. It'd look like, have you guys seen Sylvester Stallone's hairline? How like straight and fake it is? He's all tough and he's got this hairline right here. You could tell it's just like drawn on there. Or it's hair plugs or something. I would never do that. I'd rather go out with my pride that I didn't do anything to fix it, if that makes any sense. Fixing things is weak. Working out is weak. Eating healthy is weak. You care about your body. You care about your hairline. There's another word I would say, but I don't want to get in trouble. I want to have a career on YouTube. How am I going to do it? How am I going to have a career on YouTube? I like to say bad words, and they won't let me. I've been getting my promotions restricted here, limited. My money's not good enough for YouTube. They won't take my money. They're restricting me. I want to succeed. I want to make money doing YouTube. They won't let me. And I'm paying them. I'm paying to promote my videos. They won't even let me do that. Eric Cantor, you're weak. Thank you. Right back to you, Eric, whoever you are. You're probably weaker than I am, just with a comment like that. One thing you're going to notice here, I'm glad I got real people commenting, though. That's the one thing I'm thankful for. And I know that it's a real comment when it's like a joke or somebody criticizing me, and I'm grateful for those. Because for a while, I thought I was going to be trapped in the world of scammers from third world countries. So I'm glad I got some real people in here. And I'm going to cry and give up and block everyone that puts mean comments. Have you guys noticed that that's what these guys do? They put you in a timeout or they block you. Now that's weak. Let's talk about weakness. That's weak. I don't think Eric would. If you ever had a YouTube channel or any kind of like social media content, I'm sure you wouldn't block anybody, would you? I hope not. Yeah, the only thing that I'd have to block is like violence, inciting violence, that kind of thing. It's such a they're turning it into such a boring world. They won't let us say the words we want to say. I only block weird women. Yeah, that's probably a good practice to block the weird women because it's hard to get rid of them. They're gonna just like latch on to you and they want to just suck the life out of you, and not in a good, sexy way. They want to suck the life out of you without giving you pleasure. Go figure, right? You guys, have you noticed all of the YouTubers that are out there taking life so serious? Have you seen that? I don't mean to be the Joker here. I don't deserve to be called the Joker, ever. But people I've been noticing guys taking life so serious. There's this guy that I watch. He goes live every day. I'm not gonna say his name because I like him. I don't want to make fun of him too much, but I just see how miserable he is. It hurts my heart, hurts my soul. It's because he takes himself so seriously. And he's blocking people left and right. He's like, "Oh, it's my stream." No, it's my stream and I get to block who I want to. So you get to curate reality now. So you're powerful enough to curate reality, excuse me. And I don't agree with that kind of behavior. Let people say what they want to say as long as it's not inciting some, violating policy. Hurting your feelings is not violating policy, in my opinion. Somebody trying to hurt your feelings. You know what I mean? What a world we live in. What a world. And then I like to watch live streams where a guy is just like he's just pacing back and forth past the camera, and he's live for like an hour and he's pacing back and forth, and I'm the only one in there, so I have to comment and keep him going. So it's kind of, we live in a weird time, man. We live in a weird time. Yeah, man, crazy. Any advice for an alpha male who just got out of prison? Bob, I don't know how to help you, man. I don't know an alpha male who just got out of prison. I would say stay out of trouble as best as possible. Try to stay out of trouble. Show society that you don't want to go back to prison, unless you want to go back to prison. I mean, I've talked to guys that like prison, and I'll be at work with them, and they're talking about, yeah, I think I might just go back to prison. It was easier, I had all my decisions. All of my decisions were figured out for me already. I was on a schedule where I was using my time productively. It's like, so they like being told what to do. That's not good. But what do you do? I don't know how to help these guys psychologically. Just how to make your own decisions. But it is a great skill to learn how to make your own decisions. Because if you act up and you show that you can't be responsible in society, then they're going to find a way to throw you in jail, throw you in prison, restrict you. Calling yourself an alpha male makes you a beta, Eric says. Bob says, by definition, Eric, I miss my boys in there. Lots of good people in prison. The best thing you can do is completely change your lifestyle. Go to work, stay away from drugs and alcohol. That's good advice. Yeah? And you have to be on the straight and narrow and show society, I'm treading the narrow path. I'm being good. Don't hang out with people who remind you of your old life. Bob says, I don't do drugs, but love alcohol, but it makes me violent, extremely. Yeah, I love alcohol too. I've been, it's weird because YouTube's been labeling my videos now as alcohol content. And I don't remember ever talking about alcohol in any of my latest videos. I don't know where that's coming from. Can they tell that I'm, that I drink? When I've made the videos, it's in the daytime before I start drinking, though. So I don't get it. I think maybe the algorithm knows a little bit more about me than I'm comfortable with. The more you put yourself around people in that lifestyle, the more you miss and want to go back. Very true, Eric. Go on walks, play basketball, things like that. Well, I'm sure, were you able to do that in prison, Bob? Go on walks and play basketball? I'm remembering movies where they play basketball in prison. But I can't remember what movie it was. It's probably not allowed to play basketball in prison, are you? Oh, man. Men in this world, we need so much help these days, don't we? Couldn't play basketball because I'd just end up fighting. Then you're the problem. Go back to prison, Eric says. Eric, that's not nice. Bob's trying to change his life here. He's trying to be a model citizen. You know, what advice do we have? We could tell Bob to go get a job, but are there any jobs left in society other than working at a retail store? Who wants to do that, right? Working at a warehouse. There's a lot of warehouses these days. Where I live in the Central Valley, and they are completely filling the Central Valley with distribution centers. Pretty soon, that's all that's going to be left. It's going to be a landscape of distribution centers, and that's all that will exist. It's a dystopian hellscape of concrete and distribution centers. Bob's saying, Eric, you'd get turned out in prison. Oh no, we don't want to think about that. We don't want to think about that kind of thing. Yeah, that's I think the greatest fear of all heterosexual men, I would say, is to get turned out in prison, right? That'd be crazy. Oh no. Yeah, that's pretty dark. Um, you know, I've been recording these videos lately out in nature, and I've been trying to be positive to people and tell them stories and tell them about my little brother Charlie. And YouTube does not want me to succeed, but yet here I am because it's a now I have a challenge. Now I can't give up. You know, YouTube is adding fuel to the fire by restricting my videos and telling me, "Hey, Mark, you can't be yourself." But you know what? I'm gonna keep going. I'm not gonna give up because I want that ad revenue. I want that ad revenue. I want to see that ad revenue, right? And I have the uh, enough subscribers, but I need the watch hours now. So I'm a prisoner now. I'm a slave to YouTube. Pretty soon I'm gonna start adapting to what they want me to be. You know, I'm gonna talk about everything that they want me to talk about. I'm gonna let YouTube make the decisions for me, and it's gonna be great. You know, I'm going to not be myself, and I'm gonna be happy finally in this world. You know, like is it the World Economic Forum? Or who says there's the quote from Klaus Schwab? Who's he work for again? Anybody know in the comments? He says, "You will own nothing and you will be happy." I look forward to that. I look forward to not being myself and not making any more decisions and not being a troll. I look forward to not saying any more bad words. I look forward to not having any of my own ideas because I know that happiness will come from that. Happiness will come from not being myself. Even though my whole life I've been myself and I've, for the most part, been pretty happy with being myself. But I look forward to an end to that. Yeah, that seems like a great future. Great future ahead for all of us. What do you guys think? You guys excited about not being yourselves in the future, about being cleansed by AI? Cleansed from being a unique individual? I sure look forward to it. I think it'll alleviate a lot of problems that we have in society. And maybe men will be able to find dates again, just a simple date. Maybe a man will be able to go on a date again. Once we're all equally cleansed and we're just one thing, right? We're just one perfect being, right? Like the xenomorph. The xenomorph is the perfect being. I can't remember what the androids say about it, but the androids in all of the Alien franchise are always so intrigued by the xenomorph and how perfect it is, and its brutality and in its ability to exist in its existence. So is that what they want to turn us into? The xenomorph? Is that where humanity is going? Is AI will AI turn us into xenomorphs? I don't think so. I don't think it will because the xenomorph is too cool. That's too brutal of a thing. I think it wants to turn us into batteries for the Matrix. if that's not what we already are, right? But yeah, I'm into the art of HR Giger. Are you guys? Are you guys into the art of HR Giger? I think it's pretty cool. But I don't think it should be our future. I don't think I want to live in the art of HR Giger. I think it's an interesting expression of a possible future reality, but I don't think I'd want to live in it. But I think we might be heading towards something of that nature, turning us into xenomorphs, turning humanity into this cleansed, focused being, taking away our humanity. There's also nuclear war we could talk about. The threat of nuclear war. I don't know why people are so scared of Iran. I thought they didn't have nuclear weapons, right? And I've lost all my followers with the threat of nuclear war. That's great. I'm going to keep rambling. I'm going to keep talking. And what happened to my real people in here? They all left me. I think Eric got scared away from Bob because Bob's talking this tough guy prison stuff, taking turns with you. Bob, that's not the right kind of behavior. You don't want to be taking turns on another man. That's gross. That's disgusting. That's the behavior that probably got you put in prison. We don't want that. Woofles says, "Yo, what's up? What's up, man? What's up, Woofles? How you doing? Got 3 people in here. Let's get these likes up. Let's get these thumbs up. Why? To help me. Can't you see I'm suffering? Look at my background here. Oh, going into my own nose hole. Hey, yo. What are we talking about here? We're talking about nothing, Wolflesish. We're talking about nothing and everything altogether. I talked about nuclear war, and then it went to 0. The followers went to 0. I don't know if that's YouTube. You know, I've been getting flagged and restricted by YouTube. Why? I don't want to be a guy that talks about being canceled. That's not me. I don't care about being canceled. I care about just being able to say, to be funny, you know, to be entertaining. And YouTube wants to take that away from me. So today we're talking about positivity, Wolflesish. We're talking about positivity, the power of positive thinking, and all good and nice things. We can't misbehave here. We can't be ourselves. We have to be cleansed. We have to be perfect. And we have to follow the guidelines of Google, the policy and guidelines. There shall be no jokes here, no laughter, no fun at all. Okay? Don't laugh. Don't make fun of anything. Don't make fun of me. We're talking about how other YouTubers ban people, how other YouTubers are so sensitive they cannot handle a simple joke, they can't handle criticism, and then they curate their reality to kind of hold back the truths or the, you know, maybe the meanness of reality or the meanness of trolls or whatever. And they can't handle it, and they just kind of have been curating that. Nukes are a touchy subject. World obliteration makes people a little spooked, but nuclear power is awesome. I agree. It's certainly an avenue to clean, practically unlimited electricity. And that's probably what they're afraid of, is the nuclear energy will completely turn everything upside down, and then we'd have to get off of oil. A lot of people would lose money, and that's why we're not going to do it, right? And God forbid if another country tries to get that, we're going to just blow that up, right? But in this sense, you know, this is where it gets controversial, because do we want somebody like Ayatollah Khomeini getting his hands on a nuclear bomb and just obliterating the people, the Western civilization that he thinks is evil, right? Would he do that if he had that? Or would he just use the nuclear energy, as you're saying, for unlimited electricity? We don't know. Do we give him the chance to do that? And why would Trump warn the government, the Iranian powers that be, beforehand? Why would he warn them before blowing up the facility so they could get all of their stuff out of there? So essentially, we just blew up an empty hole in the ground. Why would we do that? Why would we spend money doing that? These are the questions we have to. I don't have the answer to it. I wish I did. Or do I? Do I wish I had such dark information? Do I wish I had such answers? I only have a few answers, things that I've learned throughout my life. I do have some universal answers, I think. So maybe you stick around and I'll let you in on some secrets. Japan was warned before we blew them up too. It's crazy. So I guess that shows the benevolence of America. That we want to flex on them and say, you know what? This is what we can do to you at any time. Be warned. Just to use the bombs. Snokomo, just to use the bombs. So we're just so that we can spend money making the bombs and then using them so that we have a reason to make more of them. I see that. And then we can make the shareholders happy. The shareholders of the companies that make the bombs. I mean, it's the bomb part, right? You don't need the level of enrichment that they have to just make electricity. It only needs to be enriched to that point if you were going to enrich it further to make it possibly go critical. I don't know. These things, will we ever know the answer to them? Maybe. But I do know this. I do know that I know nothing at all. But it's fun to talk to you guys about it. Maybe somebody will have the answer. Somebody please give me the answer someday. I'm going to keep going live until I get the answer. The answer to life, the universe, and everything. That's what I need. I need the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Anybody know that? It's a test for you guys in the chat. Do you guys know the answer to life, the universe, and everything? I know there's a specific answer. It's from a book, which became a movie. You get those answers when people die. Oh no! I don't want people to die to get the answer. Yes, Wolflesish knows. It's 42. Good job, my friend. You guessed it. The answer to life, the universe, and everything. 42. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. One of my favorite experiences in life. When I read those, but when I saw the film first, and then I went back and read the books. And I love the film. I love all those stories, and I couldn't understand why they didn't make more of them. And everybody involved in that film went on to have, pretty big careers, other than Mos Def. Mos Def kind of, his career started to go, and then he kind of took himself out of society and changed his name to Yasin Bey, and the rest is history. Better book. Yes, the books were great because it just expands into this universe. The humor of Douglas Adams. I think that's the author, right? Douglas Adams. I think that's his name. I don't have my bookshelf near me right now or outside. I'd pull it out. I have the big version, the big volume of the book that has all the stories in it. I rather read factual books. What kind of factual books do you like? You like reading nonfiction. What kind of nonfiction do you like? I like to read, I got this book right here because I've been reading it. I got Stephen King. Oh my God. It's not picking up the book. It just picks up my giant face. How can I do this? It's called The Dark Tower. This is the second book, The Drawing of the Three. That's what I've been reading. It's taken me forever. I used to read so much better before the internet. I used to be able to read. I would read maybe about 10 books a year before the internet and YouTube and podcasts took over my life. Wolflesish, I absolutely adore fiction, high fantasy, and lots of sci-fi. I love it. Me too. I love that stuff. I heard Robert Rodriguez recently, the filmmaker, talking about turning. He wanted to do. I think he wanted to do Conan the Barbarian as like in a Frank Frazetta style, because he was a big fan of Frank Frazetta's art, and I think that would be amazing if he could do that. He was talking about it on Joe Rogan's podcast. So yeah, I would look forward to that. That would be pretty cool. And there's a new Stephen King thing coming out called The Institute. And I think it's going to be on MGM Plus. But I read Google gave me the article because they know that I'm into the OA, and they were comparing it to the OA, which was a Netflix show that was canceled after 2 seasons, unfortunately. But you got to answer my question here. What kind of books do you like? I love history. He answered it right there. There we go. I love history, world, and American. Anything about Honest Abe. Honest Abe Lincoln. That's Honest Abe Lincoln was a good friend of mine. I knew him back in the Civil War days. That's why that's why I look the way I do. It's because I'm from the Civil War era. You see, I found a way to survive through hundreds and thousands of years, and I've made it to you guys right here on a YouTube live, believe it or not. With all the knowledge that I've gained over the hundreds of years I've been alive, why is it that I choose to spend my time right here being live on YouTube? I don't know. That's another answer I don't have. History books. Anything about Capone? So Al Capone, the mobster. So what would you say is the best book about Al Capone? Because I'm sure there's several books, right? Okay, give me your best Al Capone book and your top number 1 Abraham Lincoln book. And I would encourage everybody to read those. Whatever N is talking about here, I trust your judgment, N. I'm taking a risk here, and I'm going to trust your judgment to list your favorite books. See, I would say this book that I'm reading, the Stephen King book, Dark Tower, it's the second book in the series, The Drawing of the Three. It's kind of hard for me to get through. It's kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. I really love Stephen King. He's one of my favorite authors because it's a childhood nostalgia thing. I grew up watching the movies, and then later on reading the books. And I don't know if it's my contrarian nature, but everybody told me how great The Dark Tower was. Whenever I mentioned Stephen King, they're like, "Oh, you like Stephen King? Have you read The Dark Tower?" I'm like, "No, I haven't read it." They're like, "You got to read it." So maybe there's something contrarian about me that's kind of resisting these books. I don't know. See, I'm blaming myself here, but I think there's a lot of really long, drawn out scenes with these characters that are not good. It's just very boring so far. But I've heard that it gets going, though, once you get into the series. So N is saying David Herbert Donald's Lincoln. Is that the one they based the film off of? I wonder. I didn't see the film. I think Steven Spielberg did it, right? And Daniel Day-Lewis played Abe, I think. What'd you think of that movie? N, did you see that? I didn't see it, so I can't give a judgment call on it. What else? So what do you guys think about The Ninth Gate? Are you guys into those kind of films? Roman Polanski, Johnny Depp, 1999, which was a great year for films, 1999. That was something else. I don't know if it was because the millennium was about to switch over to 2000. Everybody just kind of, what was that? Why were there so many esoteric films in 1999? Has anybody ever thought about that? It's a brilliant film. Cool. Capone. Capone: The Life and World of Al Capone by John Cobbler. Cool. We're gonna check that out, right? Everybody watching, check those out if you want to learn something about history. Wifflezish says, I've been getting into Ranger's Apprentice by John Flanagan. Haven't heard of it. I haven't seen that movie, but Depp is awesome, so I'll check it out. Yeah, Ninth Gate. It's kind of like film noir. It's got the occult in the background. I mean, the whole movie is about a book, which is pretty cool. A book written, a fictional book. It's not a real book in real life, but it was written in 1666, I think, or something like that. But I won't give you anything else. I want you to just watch it and enjoy it. John Dillinger, yeah. And here we go. There's a connection. We found the connection. Johnny Depp has played John Dillinger, right? What'd you think about that? You probably saw that too, right? And uh, who did that? Michael Mann, I think, the guy that did Heat, right? Yeah, I think Michael Mann did the Dillinger film. Something about that. The thing I remember about that is the sound was weird. I couldn't really understand what was going on. Public Enemy #1. Yes. There you go. Thank you for that. What'd you think about that film? I thought it was good, but something about the sound was weird. I couldn't hear the dialogue. I don't know what the deal is with that, but everything else was good about it, I thought. But yeah, I also got this other one because people always talked about it, and I haven't started reading it yet. It's a pretty intimidatingly thick book here. I always like to smell the new pages of a book. You guys do that? And it's this one, this Roberto Bolaño, 2666. The title, of course, I was drawn into the title. That's interesting. I think it takes place in the future. I don't know, but it sounds like a true crime, like kind of like in a way, like it would be a film noir if they made it into a film. It sounds like a murder mystery, but I don't know. It was. I think it has been recommended by people I respect, so of course I had to buy it. But how long will this take me to read? It's like 800, it's almost 900 pages. I don't know if I'm going to get through this. Yes, that new book smell. And says, people think he faked his death. People think they shot the wrong guy. That's interesting. It's crazy. There's so much what ifs. Well, that's interesting. I got to look into that. Conspiracy theory about John Dillinger, huh? I've never heard that one. That's pretty cool. I wonder if there's any videos about that. Any conspiracy theory videos about John Dillinger, or am I gonna have to read a bunch of stuff to find? I'm sure there's got to be a video by now about John Dillinger, the possibility that he faked his death. That's interesting. I want to see what that's all about. What happened to him? Where is he? How old would he be now? He'd probably be dead, right, by age at this point. Let's see. See, I should be researching stuff too while I'm talking to you guys. Let me get my computer here. Let's see. I want to see John Dillinger. John Dillon. No, not John Dillon. Who the heck is that? John Dillinger. Let's see. He was 31 when he was shot. Okay. So I want to see when he was born. Oh yeah, he'd be how old would he? He'd be like 120. Let's see. 100, trying to do the math. Yeah, he'd probably be dead from old age or something by now. July 22nd, 1934 is when he died, age 31. Born 1908. That's weird. On Wikipedia it says 1903. Let's see. I want to see if there's any controversy. If Wikipedia will show the controversy. They may not, though. That might be a deep cut about him faking his death. Where'd you hear about that, In? Where'd you hear about John Dillinger could have faked his death? That's interesting. What? John Dillinger is featured as a character in the Illuminatus trilogy by Robert Shea and Robert Anton Wilson. I love that. That's interesting. Robert Anton Wilson. He's frequently referred to in the work of William S. Burroughs. An example is the poem Thanksgiving Prayer that is dedicated to Dillinger in hopes he is still alive. Oh, that's cool. I like these are because these are weird guys. I like these guys, William S. Burroughs and Robert Anton Wilson. I like the weird stuff they brought to us through their literature. Got sucked into a wormhole doing research, 1903, but people also say 1908. Yeah, I gotta check out. Are you familiar with the William S. Burroughs stuff or the Illuminatus trilogy? Maybe these guys know something that we don't, right? Maybe they were showing us like dropping little Easter eggs, basically whispering to those who would listen. John Dillinger's still alive. Or maybe they were, I don't know. See, my brain starts to get working too, and I start to think of things that probably don't make sense. But it kind of reminds me of Kubrick with The Shining and how people say he was dropping little Easter eggs to show that he had faked the moon landing. By having having the character Danny wear the Apollo 11 sweater and all of the other little things in there. You watch the documentary Room 237, I think it's called. I am not, sir. I will have to look into it. Yeah, we gotta figure this out, man. This is a new thing to get into. Thank you, In, for bringing this to my life. This is a new, exciting thing for me because I'm finding the references here in Wikipedia. The shooting of John Dillinger outside the Biograph Theater, July 22nd, 1934. A narrative poem by David Wagner. Okay, that one. I don't know about that one. John Dillinger, the main character in Jack Higgins' Thunder at Noon. Just the title alone, I would watch whatever that is. Or I would watch or read that. I don't know if that's a film or a book. Thunder at Noon. It would have cost more to fake the moon landing than to actually go to the moon. Oh, it would have cost more to fake it, you're saying. So you're saying that it probably wasn't faked. Okay. I just subbed. Thank you, In. Say thank you, Wolfelzish. Thank you for subbing. I appreciate it. I need you. I mean, I don't exist without you guys. I don't exist on YouTube. I'm just a man screaming into the wilderness. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm gonna look into this, especially let's see. Let me type this in. Thanksgiving prayer. Let's look. That's exciting. To me, anyways, and to you guys, hopefully. Well, of course it is. You guys brought it to me. What the hell am I talking about? You guys brought me the information on this. So we're going to open a new tab, and we're going to put Thanksgiving Prayer by William S. Burroughs. Let's check this out. Thanksgiving Prayer. It says song by William S. Burroughs. What? Okay, a song. So one place says that it's a poem, another place says it's a song. Let's see. Let's check this out. Okay, I'm going to read it. For John Dillinger and hope he is still alive. Thanksgiving Day, November 28th, 1986. I guess that's when Burroughs wrote the poem, I guess, right? Thanks for the wild turkey and the passenger pigeons, destined to be shit out through wholesome American guts. Thanks for a continent to despoil and poison. Thanks for Indians to provide a modicum of challenge and danger. Thanks for vast herds of bison to kill and skin, leaving carcasses to rot. Thanks for bounties on wolves and coyotes. Thanks for American dream to vulgarize and to falsify until The bear lies shine through. Thanks for the KKK. For inward killing lawmen filling their notches. This guy's, man, he was pretty crazy, huh? William S. Burroughs, he didn't hold back anything. This is back when you could say everything, right? For this is crazy. For inward killing lawmen filling their notches. Jeez. For decent church-going women with their mean, pinched, bitter, evil faces. Thanks for a kill a queer for Christ stickers. Thanks for a laboratory aids. Jeez, man, William S. Burroughs was based, huh? Thanks for prohibition and the war against drugs. Thanks for a country where nobody's allowed to mind their own business. Thanks for a nation of finks. Yes, thanks for all the memories. All right, let's see your arms. You always were a headache, and you always were a bore. Thanks for the last and great betrayal of the last and greatest of human desires. Thanksgiving. Okay, so the poem isn't specifically about John Dillinger. I guess William S. Burroughs is kind of lamenting that he was hunted down and killed, right? So at the beginning, he's just saying, thanks for John Dillinger and hope he is still alive. So, okay. So I thought the whole poem was going to be about John Dillinger, but it's not. He's just, looks like William S. Burroughs is kind of upset about reality in America, huh? Okay. The link I included is a crazy video about Abe and JFK. Nice. Wow, he had such a way with words. Yes, indeed. Holy moly. We have to read more of his stuff, huh? I don't know if I can. I don't know how much I can take of this. I'm just kidding. This is great. I just can't read it on, of course, on YouTube here. If he only saw what we are dealing with today, yeah, he would. With today's world, William S. Burroughs would go off, right? He would have something to write about, for sure. You know, maybe one of us needs to become the next William S. Burroughs. Start typing out what we feel about what's going on. It's crazy. I got to read more of his stuff. Okay, what was the other link? We're gonna look that up. We're gonna look up Illuminatus trilogy. John Dillinger's featured. Okay, that's something that would take more in-depth reading probably to see what Robert Shea and Robert Anton Wilson how they're featuring the character in the story, probably. Let's see. Maybe we can get a summary of it somewhere. John Dillinger in the Illuminatus trilogy. Let's see where this takes us. Down the rabbit hole. Let's see. He thought it was bad then. Yeah. I feel like things were just about, or as bad as it is now. The internet and live news and whatnot just made it easier to hear about tragedies from across the world. I agree. I agree for sure. We just get to shine a light on it now. We get to see it in real time. We get to see it live streamed now instead of discovering it later. Facts. I agree. Yep. Let's see. In the Illuminatus trilogy, John Dillinger is not just a historical figure. He's reimagined as a spiritual guru of chaos and a symbol of resistance against authority. The trilogy portrays his legendary jailbreaks not as a mere escapes, but as acts of dematerialization achieving through concentrated thought, echoing themes of counterculture and psychedelic experiences. Furthermore, Dillinger is presented as potentially not one person, but quintuplets, adding another layer of myth and mystery to his character. Pretty cool. Interesting, huh? Spiritual guru of chaos. Messian architecture and dematerialization. So we're going to have to look into that one too. We're going to have to read that one. Let's see, where are we? talking about here. It's obviously not symmetrical. We have different weapons and technology now, but the light, internet, makes it easier to see. That's true. Sounds like Loki. Yeah, Dillinger's kind of like a Loki type of archetype, right? Symbol of resistance. Trilogy. The trilogy positions Dillinger as a figure who challenges the established order, much like the counterculture movements of the 60s and 70s that the book draws inspiration from. Interesting. John Dillinger died for you, society. The book also references the quote, John Dillinger died for you, society, a fictional group that seems to idolize Dillinger and his rebellious spirit, says Darren McKeeman on Medium. Spiritual guru. Crazy. Craziness. Well, this has been great. Thank you guys for showing up and commenting. I'm going to get going now. I really appreciate the interaction here today because I finally got some real people commenting and not scammers, you know? Crazy. But yeah, you guys turned me on to a new thing here, and I got a new like rabbit hole to swirl down into and get lost in. So thank you for that, and I'm going to end the video today. I'll see you guys soon. Ian says, have a great rest of your day. Thank you. You too, my friend. For sure, man. Have a great day. Thank you. And I will see you guys next time, hopefully. Goodbye.